It's been pretty clear that John Klingberg's time with the Dallas Stars is over, and if the Stars decide to deal him rather than lose him as an unrestricted free agent this summer, which teams are ideal fits? Welcome back to today's episode, everyone. If you like today's content, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you get updates on when I post next. With all that out the way, let's get into today's episode. It all began in April of 2015 when the Dallas Stars signed John Klingberg to his 7-year contract extension, and it was pretty likely that they were getting a massive bargain. He was fresh off a tremendous debut season in which he led all rookie defensemen in points with 40 despite appearing in just 65 games. The Stars were offering him long-term stability and a massive raise, one that required projecting out of his career using a small sample size, but if he sustained anything close to his rookie season production, his value would quickly exceed the contract's $4.25 million annual average salary. That's exactly what happened. Across the first 6.5 seasons of his contract, Klingberg had performed as one of the better pure puck-moving blue liners in the NHL. From his sophomore season in 2015-16, even all the way to today, he's 9th among defensemen in points, 10th in even strength points, and 9th in power play points. He's finished 6th in the Norris Trophy voting twice. In every season of his career, the Stars have owned a significant shot attempt advantage with Klingberg on the ice. His possession numbers are buoyed by his offense, of course, rather than his defense, but that's okay. We know who he is at this point, more of a one-way player, but the one-way is very effective. Also, we all know that he's due for a massive raise on his next contract. He's an unrestricted free agent this summer, and he's a strong bet to double his annual average salary and flirt with the $8 million per season on his contract. He plays a premium position at a right shot defenseman. The sheer number of interest parties will drive up his price, and because he played at an average annual value well below his worth for his entire prime, he needs to score set for life money to compensate. He'll be 30 by the next time his deal starts, and thus qualifies as a classic get paid for what he did rather than what he's going to do trap. But the interested teams won't care. They'll be paying him for what he can bring in the short term and can worry about his decline later. Basically a league-wide pattern. For example, the San Jose Sharks ponied up to keep Erik Karlsson, and why the New Jersey Devils went all out for Dougie Hamilton, and so on and so on. It doesn't appear the Stars will be the ones shelling out major coin for Klingberg after the season. However, they have $22.46 million in cap space allotted for next season, with some crucial restricted free agents to resign in left winger Jason Robertson, right winger Denis Gurianov, and goaltender Jake Ottinger. Even if Gurianov and Ottinger go to the bridge contract route, Robertson's outstanding start to his career has vaulted him into a long-term contract territory if that's what he wants. Re-signing Klingberg for $8 million, give or take, would put a serious squeeze on GM Jim Nill. Handling a girl-sized Ryan Suter, a multi-year contract last summer rather than a one-year deal, might be what pushes Klingberg out of town. Klingberg seems to understand his fate. Speaking to the media about stalled extension talks last week, he expressed that, as a player, I don't feel that I've been appreciated. That certainly sounds like someone preparing to test the market this summer. Typically, there would be no urgency to trade him right now, as the Stars could wait until the deadline gets closer, but the stakes have been raised since, according to some reports last week, he requested for a trade. As a result, we will get into 5 teams that will definitely benefit from a John Klingberg trade. The Boston Bruins are actually a very good landing spot for John Klingberg. First of all, they were going for defenseman Jacob Chychrun, and you guys should go check out that video about Jacob Chychrun where he might be going to Long Island. And they need more help on the left side of their D-corps. That's the right, but Chychrun is 23 and signed for 4 more years at a great price, so he'll cost considerably more than Klingberg would. The Bruins probably don't have sufficient prospect depth to meet any price for Chychrun, but could afford Klingberg. The return of Tuukka Rask and Patrice Bergeron's impending free agency give the season a one last ride type feel. Klingberg can give the team puck movement a nice lift. Charlie McAvoy obviously brings a lot to the right side already, but he's such an all-around force that he's asked to do a lot more than just score. The Kings sent a message that they want to take a large step forward and transition from rebuilding to fringe contenders when they traded for right winger Victor Arvidsson and signed center Philip Deneau and defenseman Alexander Edler in the offseason. So far, very well for the Kings. They currently sit 3rd in the Pacific Division, and they've basically gotten there based on the strength of their defensive play and 5-on-5 play driving. What they lack so far is the fine finishing skill. They own one of the worst 5-on-5 team shooting percentages in the entire league, and their power play grades out 25th. Assume coach Tommy Leland can find a way to make Klingberg coexist with fellow righty Drew Doughty, Klingberg could augment the power play and help the LA shooters in better scoring positions in 5-on-5 action. With such a deep farm system too, the Kings have plenty of secondary prospects they could package in a bid for John Klingberg. The Wild could use Klingberg immediately. They're holding their own in the vicious Central, but they're ravaged by injuries and COVID-19. Half their starting D corps is out of the lineup right now: Jared Spurgeon, Jonas Brodin, and Alex Goligoski. Spurgeon is still week to week with a lower body injury. Klingberg could be welcome relief in the short term, and for the rest of the season, could help a power play that has struggled in the 2021-22 season. The Predators were supposed to be sellers last season. Instead, they kept winning until they make the playoffs and ended up re-signing defenseman Matthias Ekholm. Pending unrestricted free agent left winger Philip Forsberg is the subject of trade speculation now, but heck, Nashville has 24 wins, 12 losses, and 2 overtime losses. Might their general manager adopt a buyer mentality, I guess? Klingberg could replace their right-handed puck movement they lost when they traded Ryan Ellis to Philadelphia last summer. And lastly, should the Islanders be pursuing a big-ticket acquisition when they currently hold a .483 points percentage and sit 16 points out of a playoff spot? Well, they've played the fewest games out of any NHL team. They have more remaining home games than any other team. They're 6-2-2 in their past 10 games, and they've entered the season with Stanley Cup aspirations. Their number one right-handed defenseman, Ryan Pulock, hasn't played in 2 months thanks to a lower body ailment. When he's healthy, he's a crucial all-around horse for the Isles, but his blistering shot hasn't translated to the power play presence it should be on paper. Klingberg could give Long Island a degree of offense they really don't have at the moment, albeit Noah Dobson is in the midst of a breakout season. If the Islanders continue to improve as their schedule normalizes, don't be surprised that GM Lou Lamoriello wades into the trade waters. He's been a mid-season upgrader throughout his storied career. Thank you guys for tuning in, and have a wonderful day.